Good morning. This is Barbara, the East Coast Dragon Lady. I'm coming to you with one of two videos. I wanted to do a real talk about something that happened to me yesterday, and then I will do my weekly updates and pull some cards for the week. But I wanted to keep this one separate because otherwise I will end up blending it in with everything else. And there's a whole long story to it, and I'll try and keep this brief. But for many years, I've been working on inner child work and releasing a lot of the hurt and the pain. And I've been holding off on one particular person. I've talked about how I channeled my mother, who is now on the other side, and got all my answers from that. And then I've been off work this week, and I've had this overwhelming feeling all week that one last piece that I needed to release, I needed to do now. And yesterday was the day that I felt real urgency to release that part of me, because it's something that's holding me back, and I've gone through all the things that it could be, and of course the one thing I've been avoiding is the one thing that I had to face. A good friend of mine had suggested that when somebody's alive, you can't really embody their essence and do that. This person is still alive. But she said you can go to their higher self and communicate with them. So I decided yesterday afternoon to do that. Now, this is the person that I was married to for 24 years, and I've been divorced 26. So that's how long. Actually, it's been lifetimes of holding on to, I'm not really sure what, but just holding on. And we've repeated this, even though I don't believe we've been in lifetimes on earth, we've certainly repeated this pattern of that soul holding me back, making me feel guilty, all of the stuff that goes with it. So what I wanted to share was that, and I also realized today is the 6/6 portal, and one of the cards I pulled this morning, which again, I can't make this stuff up, is the Akashic Records. And that is where all of our lifetimes are stored. But it clearly says clearing old stories, releasing past lives, and freedom. And that's what I'd been looking for. I've just got full body chills. So I wanted to talk about that. It was actually, I didn't think that I was going to be writing it down. So I voice recorded. I did it like a session. I called his higher power by his full name, like I was going into the Akashic Records, his full name, date of birth. I did that a couple of times. I made sure that I was protected. So I had my guardian dragons, I had source energy, whatever I felt called to bring in at that moment to protect me. And then I just really opened it to him. He started straight away. And I guess it went as I expected. The image I saw of him was the classic image of him. He spoke very short sentences. But what I got from that was an apology and some explanation as to why he's not been in touch with both of his boys, why, all those whys, what happened. Not because I needed to know that. It was just, I knew it was part of his past. And he said he knew that I needed that particular moment to be healed and released. And then if I start talking about it, I'll probably cry again. So I had a lot of emotional release. I had a somewhat, and today I'm feeling somewhat empty, but I'm hearing that I have to fill that space up. Now, my mother and him left scars on my heart. And even though my mother took that scar, her scar with her, I realized he didn't, but no big surprise. But what I heard last night because I had a restless night, of course, was that that scar is dissolving because I faced it. Um, I mean, he would not face me face to face, and he actually said that he couldn't do that because he didn't know what to say. I had requested that quite a few years ago when he sort of gave me an apology, and I said, "Can we talk about that?" And his response was, "I just needed to say that, and I'm closing that door," something like that. So even though it was extremely emotional, at the very end, I had the biggest sob and then sigh, and I really felt like all of just like my whole body had been holding, and I don't even know what it was. And even he said he didn't know what it was. There was something that I think it was from my past lives, all of those things that had made me feel less than. And it's right now, it's showing up in several walks of my life. This, I'm not able to vocalize my strengths. I'm not able to say what I'm good at because nobody's ever shared that with me. So when people do, it sort of hits me here. You see, I'm tearing up now. So my hope is that having released that one, and don't ask me why I've held on to that. I don't even know, but yesterday was the time to let that part of my past go, and that's what's coming up with this 6-6 portal. That for the next 2 months we've got a lot of incoming energy, a lot of we've just got to hang on because it's going to take us up and up and up. And if we don't, and I think that's what pushed me, I heard that we need to face those things now. Otherwise, they're just, and what I heard was that they were just going to keep coming around and up and around and up, and they were going to show up in other parts of my life if I didn't do that. So I'm sitting with that today, but I wanted to share that because I think for a lot of women, when there's been emotional abuse, physical abuse, alcoholism, you know, all of that stuff, all of those things, I don't even need to talk about them. They all come in. Somebody once said that when men cheat, they sort of have a script and they all seem to, it's never their fault. It was always my fault. I was crazy. What was I talking about? He wasn't cheating, even though I had proof. All of those things. And I've heard it said, even though physical abuse is horrible, at least something breaks, it heals. But when you've been bombarded with negativity, it's a bit like it just sticks to you, right? And not only did I have that in my marriage, I had it before I got married. So I had my mother, who was low-grade abusive, right? Not very much positive said about me, even though there were many things that she could have said, but she never did. But that's gone now. I can't take any, none of this can it be changed? And that's unfortunately sort of where he was. He was saying, well, I don't know what this is going to do, but if it's going to help you, then, I'm ashamed of what I did. So I got what I wanted, and I think that's the main thing. So if you're still struggling with that, I'm 73, and don't ask me why I've spent 26 years not addressing it. It took me a long time to come out of the hole, a long time to be confident. I worked 2 jobs for many, many years, really to numb myself, because that was all I could do. But here it is, 2026, and I've released that last thing it felt like was holding me back. It was the same when I got divorced. That was when my spiritual journey really started, even though it happened a bit before that. That was, I'd actually said when I encountered Merlin that it felt very much like I had been held down, and now I'd been released and I was being shot out into the universe. And that's exactly what happened. So stay tuned for how I progress, because it was such relief when I did that with my mother, to get answers and to feel to understand, because that's really where I was coming from. I wanted to understand what happened, not because I wished to still be married or any of that. I just wanted to understand what happened, because whatever it was what's holding me back. And I was not at fault in any way, even though it takes two to get to a divorce. It, I was not contributing to that. And if it would have been left up to me, I would have kept trying. But then there comes a point when, the universe stepped in and said, you're not going to keep doing this, and put a big enough barrier, which turned out to be DCF, who said, if you choose him, then we take your children. And I was like, oh, there is no choice in that. So I could write a book on just that part of my life. And maybe I will one day. I don't know. I mean, I've just written a chapter about my dog who transitioned. I'm not going to give you a spoiler alert, but it's in Dragon Coat, so it's all about my dragon experience with him. And yeah, it's fun, but it's very stressful. It's fun sort of writing it, but all the stuff that comes with it. I'm not sure I could write a book, but I won't say no, because whenever I say I won't do something, that's exactly what I do. So this is my real talk. This is about letting go. It's time. If you're still on the fence, I'm also seeing on the edge of the cliff. If you need help with it, from somebody that has been there and done it, I'm more than happy. I have a website. I haven't put those sort of things up there, but maybe I need to relook at, some of the things I can offer. I'm not even sure if you'd call this a spirit release. It was big things need to be let go. Definitely connecting with somebody's higher self is really good to do. Both of my experiences have been, I didn't have to say it's time to go. It ended this time with my ex-husband. It ended, and then he faded back. With my mother, she said, I'm going now, and I'm taking that scar on your heart. So that's going to dissolve in my chest, so my heart will be perfect again. And that makes me, I'm happy and I'm proud that I did it, that I released that. Now I've just got to start filling up those areas that I held that to, because it was dark energy. And yeah, there was some witchcraft in there, unfortunately, from somebody he dabbled with. So I've dealt with that over the years, but it was big. But it's a big chunk of me that has now been released. It was all those threads, all those... Oh, it felt like chains, actually. I think I was chained to it. It wasn't just cords, it was chains. So the more I talk about it, the more I'm seeing, because I'm glad I recorded it, because I've already listened to it once. It makes me cry all over again, but that's good, because emotional release is good, and we're going to see a lot more of that the rest of this month, and I think through until August. I will be posting other things as I get them. I don't understand this whole thing, but certainly the 6/6 portal, I think, has brought a lot of this up for us. So I hope this has helped somebody or some of you. Please reach out to me. My website is www.eastcoastdragonlady.com, or you can email me at eastcoastdragonlady@gmail.com. Have a good rest of the week. Bye.